let's talk about how to get your PTO or PTA organized. Now, I'm not talking about like on the granular level of like how to organize your binder for your officer position. I have other videos that cover that, but we're going to be talking about kind of like the bigger picture items that can really help to keep your group on track. And it is going to make your life as a PTO volunteer and a leader a lot easier if you have these things in place as a group. I just can't tell you what a difference it's going to make. So let's dive into my ideas for how to organize your group. And so the reason I'm going to be talking to you about this today, because if you don't know already, when I am not working in my kids' schools or volunteering, I actually work as a professional organizer. So I bring structure and order and just organization to my clients' homes and lives. So that is why I am passionate about this topic and really have these ideas that I think are going to be excellent for you. So let's get to it. So the very first thing that you need to be doing as a group, as a PTO or a PTA, is to start planning in advance. When you plan in advance for, it doesn't matter what you're doing, if it is a meeting, if it is a program, an event, a fundraiser, when you are planning in advance, life is easier because you can anticipate things that are going to come up. You can get all of your ducks in a row so that they are there ready and waiting, and that you're not scrambling at the end trying to part everything together and make it work. It is going to be less stressful for you. All positions can do this, whether you are a room parent preparing for a class party, or if you are a fundraising chair. Like fundraisers, as you know, successful fundraisers just don't happen on their own. You really do have to prepare and plan and plot out a strategy for how to make things happen. If you were wondering, like, Christina, I don't know how to do this, then I definitely think that you should check out the officer success kits that I have available in my shop. There's one for every single officer so that it can help you stay on track. It gives you a game plan to follow. If you are a fundraising chair, there's a 6-month checklist. Yes, 6 months. That's how long this stuff takes. Like if you want to be really successful, like truly successful, and not be losing your mind and not be having it be like a full-time job for you. It is, of course, possible to pull things off at the last minute, but I know that it always makes me feel a little more crazy and harried and just uncomfortable when that happens, versus if I have taken the time to kind of plot everything out in advance and plan and have an idea of how things are going to go. I just personally feel more confident. I feel like the events and programs run more smoothly when I do that. So the next way to organize your PTO or PTA is to get your meetings, whether it be an executive board meeting or a general membership meeting, down to an hour or less. Now, this isn't always going to be possible, especially for like the first meeting of the year when you have a lot of newbies and you're going to have to explain a little bit more so everyone can be in on the same page. But generally, that should be your goal. If your meetings are running well over an hour, people are going to get antsy. They're going to be uncomfortable in the time, like in the moment. And the next month, they're not going to want to come back. They are going to find something else to do. They're going to find an excuse. They're going to find something better to do. So really try to keep your meetings short and sweet and to the point. And for this, you're going to have to plan in advance. So I have a whole nother video on how to run short PTO and PTA meetings. So I will link to that in the description below. So be sure to check that out if that's something that you see an opportunity to improve upon. Now, I should say that all of these ideas are not criticisms. They're supposed to be like constructive criticisms and just highlighting opportunities for you to improve your group, because that is something I'm always striving for personally, personally in my business and as well in my PTO activities. Like I'm always trying to do better than I did before. I'm an overachiever like that, I guess, or maybe it's because I'm type A. I don't know. Whatever it is, it's something I'm aiming for. So I thought you probably could benefit from the same advice or similar advice. The next thing that you should be doing on the regular to kind of keep your group running smoothly is to debrief and have a meeting with the people who were involved with your programs, your meetings, your events, your fundraisers. Like really, you should be looking at what worked, what didn't work, what opportunities are there for improvement, what is something you definitely should repeat, what are things that you should never, ever repeat or never let happen again. Now, again, if you're unsure about how to facilitate that conversation and how to document everything, if you take a look at the forms inside the President Success Kit, those form, those exact forms are included in there. There's an event planning as well as an event summary form. And the summary form will walk you through everything that kind of the information that you're going to need to capture those notes in an effective and efficient way so that you can take action on them for the next time around. So, or the next person who's stepping into your role can do that. So the President Success Kit is geared towards presidents, but the forms inside of it are meant to be used by everybody in your group. So even if you are not a president, I would go ahead and suggest to you, if your group does not already have the President's Success Kit, go ahead and check that resource out, because it is going to make such a huge difference for you, in that there are like tons of systems baked into that kit that will help you organize your group, organize your time, just kind of shift your mindset into a different kind of way of being and approaching your PTO. The next thing that you need to do to organize your group is to look at how you're communicating. Are you communicating clearly? If you have parents that are saying or indicating that they don't know what's going on, they have a lot of questions about maybe something you've totally talked about before, maybe you've sent out an email, maybe you've sent out a flyer, but they're still not getting it, then you need to look at improving your communication. So sometimes it's not always you, sometimes it is in fact them. Like last month or a couple months ago, we went out for a dinner instead of a meeting. And I had said during the meeting, like, we are going to be going out next month. We are not going to be having a meeting. Because I think the words I said was like, in lieu of a meeting, we're going to go for dinner. And so I said it at the previous month's meeting. I said it in emails. I said it many times. And still there was a parent who showed up and was like, hey, are we having a meeting? Like after this? Like she came to the restaurant where we were having dinner, but didn't come for dinner, and clearly just came for the meeting when we were not having a meeting. And so when we were all done with our dinner out and I was walking out with some other members, I said, was I not clear about that? Like, was that not clear that we were going out instead of a meeting? And the other people were like, no, it was totally clear. It was just her. Like, she was not paying attention. But I still looked at it as an opportunity for, like, maybe I could have said that a few more times. Maybe I need to start saying it earlier, because I think people have to hear something like 8 times before they take action on it, which seems like an absurdly high number, but it just goes to show, like, you need to say things more often than you think you should. So go ahead and look at your communication practices, see where you can tighten up on those, improve on those. If you need some guidance about that, I have another article or a blog post about that, about how to publicize your events, but it does talk about communication, the different ways that you can do that to communicate more broadly and more effectively. So definitely check that out. Again, link in the description below. The last idea I have for organizing your group, and it's really just not your entire group, but together your group is made up like the sum of all of its parts, right? So if you are more organized as a PTO leader yourself, then that is going to translate into a more organized PTO generally. I think you need to be setting an example for others and kind of have your crap together, because if people see that you personally are kind of a hot mess and just patching it all together, then they're going to think that your entire group is that way, or they could be led to believe that. And generally, people are more attracted to things that are organized, that are things that are orderly, that are not complete chaos. Because when's the last time that you signed up for a hot mess? Like something you saw was a hot mess and you're like, oh Lordy. Like, no, you're just not going to. So this will make you personally happier. It'll make your group more attractive. It'll make it easier for people to get involved. And so one of those ways is to start making a list so that you know what is going on, what is coming up next, what you need to be doing. And it will really end a lot of your questions, because in making that list, you're going to look at what is coming up next and what are the steps to take you there to make that happen. So again, if you're looking for guidance about this, then definitely, I know I keep saying this, but like the resources available in the PTO shop, I didn't make these just to make them. I made them to be helpful for you as a volunteer and as a leader. And so they've been really crafted to be personalized for those specific roles. Because again, I've done pretty much every single role in a PTO, so I know what's involved. And generally, there's so much similarity across all of the groups that you can use the success kits no matter the name of your group. Like if you're a PTO, if you're a PTA, if you're a PTI, it doesn't really matter, like any of the acronyms in the HSA. There's so many different group types that are all essentially PTOs, like Booster Club, doesn't matter. All PTOs, you can use those resources to really benefit you. So I encourage you to check those out. But more largely, I hope that you have really enjoyed these organization tips, and it's giving you a different way to think about how to approach your role and your PTO. And most importantly, I hope you have enjoyed this video and that you will join me for the next one. Want even more guidance on how to be a stronger leader so you can run a better PTO or PTA? All of these resources and more are waiting for you at ptoanswers.com.